here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, how are you doing out there, my friends? Greetings and welcome to today's program. I am your host, the one, the only, ever so lovable Todd Huff. Email address, todd@toddhuffshow.com. Let's see. By the way, we're going to have here in a moment, I'm going to post a question to Facebook. I haven't done that lately, but it is something I would like your feedback on. You can always share that with us, todd@toddhuffshow.com, or by text, 317-210-2830. But I haven't used, look, social media is, in my opinion, it's an enemy of the free-thinking people. It's an enemy of people who have an opinion outside of the status quo. We have been caught. I am just, as Rush used to say, a harmless fuzzable, or what? Harmless, lovable little fuzzball. I've not done anything on social media. I've asked questions. I'm not out there trying to burn it down or cause World War III. I mean, they're the ones, the radical left, the media, educators, not all educators, but you know what I mean. The folks who are enemies of reason and decency for our children. Hollywood, they're the ones that are at war with us. Not done anything, but we do have a poll that I'll put on Facebook here in a moment. And it's really where I want to start today, which is Trump is not going to be present at Wednesdays. Is it Wednesday? The debate. And we talked about this last week. In fact, I remember posing I took the position. I said I'm 50-50. I was 50-50 on what I thought he was going to do. I did think that it strategically made more sense to not attend this debate, as much as I want him to be there for the sake of having more of an interest, getting down to the nitty gritty, watching this thing unfold. I do think strategically it is the right move. And I said that last week, although I wouldn't have faulted him for doing it as well. I mean, it's one of those things that you can make the case either side, either way here. But I do think that it makes strategic sense because he is dominating in the polls. He is a force to be reckoned with. He is the Republican primary, even if it is by himself. Let me say that again, because I hadn't said it like that or thought about it like that prior to the show, but he is by himself the Republican primary. And it's his to lose. And I mean, there are many pitfalls out here that could make him lose. No doubt about it. We have to be prepared for that. Folks, to understand Trump and to understand the media and to understand what this fight is about, those things are critical at this particular point in time. I, for years, have tried to explain to people who I don't know if they just don't understand Trump or if they don't want to, or if they want to misrepresent him. But really, the simplest way of understanding how we got here is to accept, and I know people don't want to do this because now you do, but I'm talking about people who have been sucked into the narrative that the media has put out there, the Democrat Party has put out there, the people who are still more afraid of what might happen under Trump than what has actually happened and unfolded before our very eyes with President Joseph bribery. I mean, they're real people. And I don't know if they've just come to the conclusion that they don't know enough about politics to make up their own mind, but none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense, especially when you factor in the things that they told us to be afraid of if Trump was president, the things that he was going to cause to happen to this nation are precisely the things that have happened with Joseph Biden, destroyed the economy, abandoned us in Afghanistan. The world's on fire, literally, by the way, if you pay attention to all these fires that are happening out there, both literally and metaphorically. It's on fire because of American weakness. American weakness is, in fact, quite the provocateur. American weakness is provocative. And then you've got Ukraine, which didn't happen under Trump's. I mean, it didn't happen on Trump's watch. Happens on Biden's watch. Just so happens, it's totally coincidental, that Hunter Biden had all of these sweetheart deals working in Ukraine, Burisma. Just so happens, coincidentally, that Biden wanted to get rid of, and he did ultimately get rid of, the prosecutor that was looking into Burisma, even though they lied to us and told us that that didn't happen. They've lied to us about every conceivable thing. Biden has, the media has, the Democrat Party has, my friends, the Republican Party has. There are a handful, a couple of people out there that I think are trying to do the right thing. But my friends, it comes down to you and me, the American people. That's who this thing comes down to. And we've had enough. And that's why last week I was so encouraged by that song that came out, Rich Men North of Richmond. I thought that's just fantastic stuff. It captures so much about what's going on in America today. Oliver Anthony, who's turned down, by the way, he has turned down some big contracts with record labels to, basically remain independent and keep doing what he's doing. Now, if he signs, there's nothing wrong if he signs one of these deals if he feels like, I admire this. I admire it because it's what we've done here. I mean, we don't, he's skyrocketed to the top of the chart. So he's accomplished things that we have not. But I'm just saying, I admire his willingness to not get into something that he doesn't feel good about. There were things that we could have done along the way that we did not. I won't get into the details, but there's been things I said no to. We've recently said yes to things because it felt right. I believe that it's something that we're supposed to be doing. There's some announcements coming out about that. I mean, some of those are even going to trickle out today. But anyway, so there's all this going on, and it comes down to the American people. It comes down to us. By the way, I should also mention to you, I'm starting a new series on we are launching a column that you can sign up for to get for free on our website. It'll go out Wednesdays. The column is called Conservative Not Bitter. But we're doing a series. That's called Common Ground. Now, I have the position, and if you've listened to this program for some time, and we'll get back to Trump and that in a moment, but that I have for some time talked about how 80% of this country agrees with 80% of the things I say on here. I think that that's true. I've seen that during the Truth Tour. I've seen that just in, conversations. I've seen that anecdotally. I think you can find some of that in some research. It's polarized, but it's polarized because of the personalities in politics. It's polarized because of terminology and the way that the media, the way that the politicians, professional deceivers, jokers, and clowns have pitted us against each other in the form of identity politics and all of that. And so, but anyway, we're doing this series within the column. The column's called Conservative Not Bitter, but the series is called Common Ground. So without, and this is important for me to say, without compromising our principles, this column is going to be talking about ways that we can find common ground. Because when I heard that song, Oliver Anthony's song, Rich Men North of Richmond, and you see people's response all across the political spectrum. Everybody's down with this. Different types of music that they like, but they like the song. Different races, ethnicities, different parts of the country, different religions. Everyone says, yes, what this guy is saying, right? What this guy is saying. And so actually the first part of the column, the first, I should say, of the series, Common Ground, is going to be kind of talking about that as a springboard. So that'll go out Wednesday. And you can sign up for that for free on the website ToddHuffShow.com. Just look for the column, which I think is on the homepage. You just scroll down just a smidge and put your email there, and you'll start receiving those. They'll go out weekly. So we've got work to do as a group here. We've got work to do. We've got work to do with other conservatives, other limited government type people, other lovers of liberty. And I think a lot of the work and a lot of what needs to be done needs to go back. We have to constantly calibrate and recalibrate. We have to know what we're shooting for. We have to understand why we've gotten to where we are and what it's going to take to get out of this. And so that's why I was talking about Trump here at the beginning, because Trump is what they did to Trump. They, the media, they, the Democrat Party, they, the establishment Republican Party. What they did was the same thing they always do to people who they want to rein in. This happens repeatedly to presidents. This happened to Reagan in some respect. This happened to George W. Bush, which I don't want to get into that and defending him, but he was ruthlessly attacked by the media for a long time. This does not happen, by the way, to Joseph R. Biden. This does not happen, obviously, to Barack Obama. This does not happen to Bill Clinton. In fact, the media comes, circles the wagons, and defends these guys. Not what happens when there's a guy in office that wants to take the country back towards the Constitution, although in many cases, I don't think that's what Trump was objectively trying to do. I think he was simply doing what made sense, what made logical sense, and so forth. And so we often end up at the same point. But the point is that Trump became the enemy because instead of reaching a point where he capitulates and gives in because the pressure gets too hot, Trump punches back. And so when Trump punches back, the media, the radical left, do what they always did, which was punch back a little bit harder. But see, when both sides are only willing to up the stakes, to raise the stakes, then you're going to have a perpetual fight. And that's what's happened. And so they reached the point, they, the media, they, the Democrat Party, which is controlled by the radical left. They, the establishment Republicans. Yes, Todd Young, that means you. Yes, Lisa Murkowski, that means you. Yes, Susan Collins, that means you. Yes, Mitt Romney, that means you. And it means others. That's just the ones that come to mind immediately. These are unprincipled. These are Democrat-like candidates. They're not going to be strong fighting for limited government. They're going to be fighting for maybe a little bit less government, maybe a little bit less control. But at the end of the day, following these jokers and clowns leads us to the same exact place. And Trump represents the opposition to that. And he has stirred up a tremendous amount of support. And the nomination is his to lose. And of course, he can lose it. I mean, I know there are some who are like, look, these charges, there's no way that someone do not say that. Do not conclude that there is no way that, say, in Georgia, 12, remember the movie 12, the movie, the play, the book, 12 Angry Men is what it was originally. Then it became 12 Angry Jurors, I believe. It's a great classic book, movie, great movie. I remember watching that as well. I think we read it in high school or college. But anyway, it's there are emotions involved in this. There's a lot of them. This is pure emotion in many respects. And so they have thrown everything at this guy. And so when he's not at the debate, I think it's great. And he's going to be interviewed by Tucker Carlson, which is another, I think, just a strategical move of brilliance. So you're going to have these other Republicans up on stage who are not, it's just going to look like the B team. And look, I like a lot of them. I do. I think there's good things about several of these folks. I think there's a couple of them that are basically doing the Democrats' bidding. And candidly, I think Chris Christie, I wonder if his campaign is not being funded by the Democrat Party. If his campaign isn't intended to be the initial Democrat, I mean, they're probably testing some of the messaging that Chris Christie's out there trying to say to knock down Trump. They're just testing this along the way. It would not surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Chuck Schumer's funneling some of that money. Who knows who funds these people? They've got a web of deceit and a bunch of smoke and mirrors to keep you from really understanding it, but I wouldn't put it past them. And then you got Pence out there. Again, you know my thoughts on this. It's a total disaster. And of course, you got the indictments. You got what's happening with Biden. By the way, Hunter Biden was at a bar mitzvah for his, I want to say nephew. Is that right? Nephew. He was asked to give the prayer, and he's praying for the justice of God. I mean, Hunter Biden better really be careful asking for the justice of God. Whew. I mean, that's terrifying to think about. Anyway, the amount of disdain and just mockery that's in that scenario in and of itself is enough to, make my head spin. But anyway, so Trump's not going to be at the debate. I'm a little bit upset about that, but I think strategically it's the right thing. I would like to hear what you think. We've got a question on Facebook. If you want to go there, share your thoughts at the Todd Huff Show Facebook page, or you can always email Todd at Todd Huff Show or text us 317-210-2830. That being said, timeout is in order. First timeout here of the day. Going to come back, shift gears just a tad. Plenty of things to get to, as always, when we hit a Monday. But a timeout here is in order, my friends. Sit tight, listening to conservative, not bitter talk. Caution, by the way, contents of this program may cause you to lean to the right. Back in just a minute. Everyone loves getting packages, and for our family, it feels a little extra exciting to get a package at a campground while we're traveling on the Truth Tour. Today's delivery from MyPillow was one we've been looking forward to receiving with some extra enthusiasm because it means we'll all be getting a better night's sleep. And that can be tricky anywhere, whether at home or on the road. Our MyPillow order includes new pillows for all 5 of us. I'm looking forward to using the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology because I often get hot at night. Our order also includes a set of extra soft Giza sheets, comfortable slippers, a great set of towels, and yes, even a dog bed for Echo and Tango. If you'd like to see how MyPillow can help you upgrade your quality of sleep or browse the wide variety of high-quality products they offer, visit MyPillow.com and use promo code TODD to save up to 50%. Welcome back, my friends. Something else to keep your eye on this week is just the timing of everything. Remember, Trump is supposed to turn himself in to Fulton County, Georgia. As I understand it right now, he's supposed to turn himself in, be arrested, get booked. I mean, there's been talks of handcuffs, fingerprinting, mug shots, all of this stuff. And of course, you understand why. This is not complicated to understand. We know what is going on here. We know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Trump. Look, they're trying to persuade a small percentage of people, because you've got the people like most of you, probably the vast majority of you, maybe even close to all of you, are ready to cast the ballot, at least for the Republican nominee, whoever that is. I would venture a guess to say most of you are looking forward to voting for Trump to finish what he started, to go back and to re-engage in the fight officially as president of the United States and try to eradicate this. I mean, hellhole. DC is an absolute hellhole. It is. And so I know many of you are looking forward to that opportunity. And of course, there are others that would vote for anybody besides Trump. I mean, literally anybody. They'd vote for, they would vote for Joseph Stalin, maybe Hitler. Some of them would. I'm telling you, some of them would. But some of these folks would vote for anybody besides Trump. And so then you're left with people, I say in the middle. I mean, I don't know if that's really the right way to say it, but there's the people that are left that are in the middle, and it's a small percentage, and they're trying to impact them. If they can push the needle a little bit in their favor, if they can make someone who's on the fence just think, I can't vote for a guy that I saw in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. Again, not to be confused with Hillary's orange pantsuit. If I can see this guy with the mugshot and handcuffs, if it gets to that, fingerprinting, some people are just going to not be able to see that through. And I'm going to encourage those of you listening to my voice to see this through. To see this through. Not because I'm endorsing someone who's legitimately guilty of all sorts of high crimes and misdemeanors, but rather this is someone who has been targeted politically and is having the government weaponized against him. My friends, if that can happen to the president of the United States, it absolutely can happen to you. It absolutely can happen to Democrats. It absolutely can happen to anybody. Anybody who is against the status quo of the people who hold power at the moment. And that should be unequivocally unacceptable here in this country. Unfortunately, many people have become accustomed to accepting that if it helps their political cause or their particular candidate. So there's very few people that are excited to vote for Biden. That's undeniable. I had not seen this. Oz told me that Biden was given a speech maybe this weekend, and he was reading a teleprompter. Oz, correct me where I get this wrong, but he was reading a teleprompter, and the teleprompter said something like politely dismiss the media or something like this. And Biden, instead of just politely dismissing the media, Biden reads the teleprompter and says politely dismiss the media. I mean, it's so embarrassing. I told us, why are they putting anything on that teleprompter besides the words that should come out of his mouth? If he has to read it and interpret it and then decide what comes out of his mouth, that is way too much going on for that guy to manage. Way too much going on. And everybody knows this. It is no joke. It is no one is fooled into thinking that Biden is, let me say it this way. No one is really on the side of saying Biden is totally healthy and fine and completely coherent and cogent and making good, rational decisions. Nobody's saying that. They'll pretend like they are because they will double and triple and quadruple down in the most insane places because it's effective with some people. But they're trying to persuade a small percentage of people. So if they can get him, Trump, in handcuffs, if they can get him a mugshot, and they can make someone embarrassed to say that they voted for him, then that's a victory. And so we have to pick up the slack, basically. It should actually make us more inclined to go and cast this ballot. It actually should make, because friends, they are throwing everything they have at this. They decided after they kept him from winning in 2020, they have decided in no way, shape, manner, or form are they even they're going to throw everything at this guy immediately. They are not going to be fooled into giving this guy even the slightest of chances. They learned back in 2016 when he won the election. They screamed at the universe. We've been through this. They screamed at the universe. They sat there and tried to say that Russia stole the election because Putin had some good Facebook ads, Pokemon Go ads. And they played that game for a while, but it took a while for them to realize, hey, we had better fight this guy. Now the guy says, I'm going to run for president. And the guy shows up at a rally months or years before even before even a campaign has even been slightly begun. They are going to try to demonize this guy. They can't have this. They can't have more Donald Trumps running around. They can't have Trump himself, certainly, back in the midst. He's inspired so many people to fight back. And he's shown them a couple of things. A, how the media, how the bureaucratic state is going to react to this. But B, the groundswell of support that happens for people that do have the courage to stand up and do this. So that's going to happen this week too. And some are thinking that Trump is going to potentially turn himself in. He has until Friday, sometime on Friday, to turn himself in. What happens if he decides to do it on the morning of the debate? August 23rd. The debate's just a couple days away. What if he turns himself in? on that day. I mean, in some ways, I kind of anticipate that. Again, I'm not predicting it, but if he's got to do it by Friday, I mean, he would completely steal the thunder. And he could promote his interview on Tucker's show, completely sabotaging the GOP debate. And by the way, the GOP, I mean, this is from the party side, has been totally mismanaged from the beginning. The way that they're doing this, the games that can be played by the people that get on the debate stage, a lot of these folks don't have real donors. Yes, they had people that gave them $1. It probably cost them. In some cases, we know they gave out $20 gift cards. That's not a real donor. That's someone who saw, hey, I can make my money multiply by 20 times by giving this candidate $1. It's a financial decision, not a vote of support. Anyway, and now Trump's not going to be there. And I don't blame him. I don't think he should be there. I don't. I think it's the right strategy, and I think we had better, and the Republican Party had better prepare for the very real possibility that Trump will turn himself in on Wednesday and then promote his interview. Thereby, again, and actually, as I'm saying it here, I expect it. I do expect it because it only furthers his position if he can drive potential viewers of the debate to his interview and make the case there that he is the de facto nominee of the party. It's a perfect, he's got real problems legally and what's going on here. Not because it's legitimate, but because it's fabricated and they're not afraid of weaponizing the government against him or against you, by the way. What is strategically brilliant is to go ahead and make the most out of it. So as I'm saying this, I kind of expect it. I expect him on Wednesday. Maybe it would be Tuesday. Maybe that makes more sense, but right before the debate. Maybe it's tomorrow afternoon. I don't know. I can't see him waiting until after it. Maybe. I don't know. He's a master of these things. So anyway, so that's out there too. That's going to be happening this week. And that's going to be a 3-ring circus as well. So, and as we talked about last week, just a total error, right? There's so many human errors. We're just supposed to give the county of Fulton County in Georgia, all the people that work there, they should get all sorts of excuses for all sorts of mistakes and, posting the indictment before it even was something that was technically in existence. We're just supposed to ignore all that. No big deal. Nothing to see there. Trump's the real culprit. Trump's the one who should really be going to prison, when I maintain that the real problem is the deep state, the bureaucratic state, the people who are at war with you that are in your government, my government, and they want to stop someone like Trump because he is the true threat to them. He is the biggest threat to their existence in the sense of being in government. Not their lives are in jeopardy. That's what they want you to think. Oh, these folks are going to be, Trump's going to get someone to, do something really bad to these folks. And if something bad happens to any of these folks, that's absolutely not what should happen. It's evil and wicked and unacceptable. But they want you to think that he's the one stirring this up. But my friends, they are the ones that are completely ignoring the Constitution, liberty, and really the political opposition here. They're truly going after them in ways that we've not seen in this country. In some ways, it's shocking. In another way, we better splash some cold water on our faces and understand that this is what we're up against. And we got to fight back like crazy. And I've got to take a break. Sit tight, my friends. Back in just a minute. Everyone loves getting packages. And for our family, it feels a little extra exciting to get a package at a campground while we're traveling on the Truth Tour. Today's delivery from MyPillow was one we've been looking forward to receiving with some extra enthusiasm because it means we'll all be getting a better night's sleep. And that can be tricky anywhere, whether at home or on the road. Our MyPillow order includes new pillows for all 5 of us. I'm looking forward to using the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology because I often get hot at night. Our order also includes a set of extra soft Giza sheets, comfortable slippers, a great set of towels, and yes, even a dog bed for Echo and Tango.
If you'd like to see how MyPillow can help you upgrade your quality of sleep or browse the wide variety of high-quality products they offer, visit MyPillow.com and use promo code TODD to save up to 50%.
Welcome back, my friends. You know, something else to keep your eye on. I know some of you keep a close eye on this, but we got all this stuff that we're trying to manage, stay on top of, talk about. I mean, it's only going to get crazier, right? I mean, we've been through this. We have to accept that. But something back there in the shadows, in a way, that we need to keep our eyes on is, well, I don't know if you've been following this latest COVID variant, and there's starting to be murmurs of masks, and, you know, you hear some people start pontificating about, maybe we need to take other precautions and all this sort of stuff. And again, the timing, it is almost identical. It's hard to believe I'm going to say how long ago this was, but it's almost 4 years now, right? Not quite, 3.5. 3.5 years ago. And what happened 3.5 years ago? 3.5 years ago, well, we were in an election year, right? And they used COVID. Now, again, this is a very complicated subject to manage, to deal with. And there's all sorts of very strong emotions. But for the sake of this discussion, we have to understand that COVID, in the simplest of ways of understanding it, the simplest of ways to think about it, at least correctly, in my mind, is to understand that there's 3 components to COVID. There's the health component. And again, you can think, China, of course, we are almost certain that this came out of a Chinese lab, even though we weren't allowed to talk about that up to, leading up to the election, or really any time until recently, because that was considered, I don't know, what was that considered? Hate speech or dangerous to people's life and health and so forth, or some stupid thing. And so there's there's a legitimate health component, right? There's no doubt that there's a legitimate health component. But then there's also the component that says, hey, we can't shut down the economy. That should go without saying. We had draconian measures that were taken primarily by Democrats, but they also were taken by Republicans. It's one of my beefs with our governor here in this state, Eric Holcomb, who I hope to goodness does not run for senator. Our 2 senators were Todd Young and Eric Holcomb. I don't even know how to compute that in my brain. That's embarrassing. Anyway, so you've got this scenario where you've got, of course, the health, and there's a legitimate health concern. I remember I was very understanding in the early days of this because, again, we were told how deadly this was and dangerous, and it did take a lot of people. I'm not minimizing any of that. I'm just saying that it's like a three-legged stool. You have the economy, you have health, public health, and you've also got our freedom and liberty. And the political powers back in those days, which many of those folks are still in positions of power. Gretchen Whitmer, some of the folks in Washington, the same folks, generally speaking, or they were involved with it when Biden came into the White House, as we're supposed to believe Biden stopped COVID, fixed it all, got it all back to normal and all that malarkey. But this whole idea that, the other two, the economy and our liberty shouldn't matter, cost us. And we're still paying the damage for this. We're still paying the price for that. And I just want to plant this seed. And hopefully this does not come back. Hopefully they do not force the hand here. But I am saying right now, I think every freedom-loving American in this country should decide never again. Never again. Never again am I going to sacrifice my child's education. Never again am I going to sacrifice my liberty and the liberties of my fellow Americans. Never again are we going to be led down a path that devastates the economy, that caused untold amount of mental health issues and suicides and everything else. Never again. And they start talking about this and they start looking to use this as ways to circumvent laws, election laws, as they absolutely unequivocally did in 2020. No, your church shuts down. Look, churches shutting down in whatever, if this comes back, and I'm not predicting it will, but I think we have to be very mindful of this and think about this as we move into the fall, as we move into the winter, as we move into flu season, and dare I say, most importantly, as we move into an election season. They start shutting stuff down. I am not complying. I am absolutely not. I was reasonable. I helped navigate arguments in our church as we were trying to just try to work through this as reasonable individuals with people on different sides of the spectrum. I did that. I'm not doing this again. And you shouldn't either. We cannot. Just keep your eye on this, as I know you do. Just keep an eye on it. All the data, every stinking study showed that none of the things that were designed to mitigate the damage and the turmoil of COVID did a diddly darn thing. Never again, my friends. Because what did they do? What did they do with that power that we gave them? They used it against us. It has led, I think some people during COVID stopped looking at other human beings as human beings. They started looking at them as germ carriers. They were nameless, faceless people. They were told to stay 6 feet away, put on a mask, stay away. They were cheering for the deaths of some people in some instances. Never again. Hear my voice. Holcomb or whatever other tyrannical governor that exists out there, or city council or whatever. I think I speak for lots of people when I say never again. Never again. Don't try it, because it ain't happening. And we all have to have that mentality, my friends, and we better be prepared to back it up in mass protests and just absolutely refuse to be locked down, shut down, and everything else, because they've used it against us before. They will use it against us again. Be very wary of what is coming around the corner next. And I've got to take a timeout. Oz is correct. Quick timeout, my friends. Back in just a minute.
Everyone loves getting packages, and for our family, it feels a little extra exciting to get a package at a campground while we're traveling on the Truth Tour. Today's delivery from MyPillow was one we've been looking forward to receiving with some extra enthusiasm, because it means we'll all be getting a better night's sleep. And that can be tricky anywhere, whether at home or on the road. Our MyPillow order includes new pillows for all 5 of us. I'm looking forward to using the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology, because I often get hot at night. Our order also includes a set of extra soft Giza sheets, comfortable slippers, a great set of towels, and yes, even a dog bed for Echo and Tango. If you'd like to see how MyPillow can help you upgrade your quality of sleep or browse the wide variety of high-quality products they offer, visit MyPillow.com and use promo code TODD to save up to 50%.
Welcome back, my friends. 2 things I want to do here this segment. In the time that we have allotted, which is quickly passing through our fingertips here. Number 1, I want to tell you that our church denomination, which is the Missionary Church, they have established a website. They're actually taking donations. I've actually waited to see, and I didn't know our church was going to do this, candidly. But if you're looking to help the people of Hawaii, I learned this yesterday at church. Our church's denomination is actually sending a team. I think they're getting there today, I think is what they said. It's from our denomination, not from our local church, but the denomination's in the same state. Website, mcusa.org. That stands for Missionary Church. mcusa.org/Hawaii. I know that's I don't like these websites with abbreviations, but that's what we've got. MC, that's for Missionary Church. USA.org/ Hawaii. They're taking donations if you want to help. I know some people want to help, and it's kind of hard to find some of these places. So you can do that. Also, I'm going to take a break. And I'm going to do it on the other side of the break when I get back. I'm going to tell you what else is going on here, but I'm just out of time. Quick timeouts in order, my friends. Sit tight. Back in a minute.
Everyone loves getting packages, and for our family, it feels a little extra exciting to get a package at a campground while we're traveling on the Truth Tour. Today's delivery from MyPillow was one we've been looking forward to receiving with some extra enthusiasm because it means we'll all be getting a better night's sleep. And that can be tricky anywhere, whether at home or on the road. Our MyPillow order includes new pillows for all 5 of us. I'm looking forward to using the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology because I often get hot at night. Our order also includes a set of extra soft Giza sheets, comfortable slippers, a great set of towels, and yes, even a dog bed for Echo and Tango. If you'd like to see how MyPillow can help you upgrade your quality of sleep or browse the wide variety of high-quality products they offer, visit mypillow.com and use promo code TODD to save up to 50%.
Welcome back, my friends. Not a lot of time, but I do want to tell you this. And something that's occurred to me, the good bad guy is not going to like me saying this, but he'll get over it. So, I mentioned last segment, if you want to help the Hawaii Fire Relief Fund, I gave you the website for that. I think we'll put it on the show note. We'll put it on the Stack of Stuff page today too. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is that we have relaunched our merch store, our online shopping for products. And we've got our new logo in there, which it's good looking stuff. The good bad guy did a really, really good job. And so if you go to the ToddHuffShow.com website again, ToddHuffShow.com, and you just go to the homepage and go to the merch page. It's called merch. You can see our items there. Use discount code or promo code LISTEN, LISTEN, listen. You'll save 10% and you get free shipping on anything over $75 in the store. The other thing that I just decided to do on the fly is anything, and that promo code lasts to the end of the month. Anything that you get in that store, with that promo code, we'll send 10% to the Hawaii Relief as well. So I got to go. Have a great day, my friends. SDG.